Hi everyone, something a little bit different today. I really wanted to make some bread spice. I really love rye sourdough breads. This is the book called The Rye Baker from Stanley Ginsberg. Not all of these are pure sourdough, and I haven't honestly made any real recipes from this book, but it is fabulous, and there's a lot of great learning about rye bread baking to be done in this book. I've been playing around with the rye recipe that includes some pumpkin, and given my heritage, one of my great grandmothers was from Germany. I don't have any other real connection with Germany, although I have a friend who's German, but there is a recipe in this book for German bread spice, and it does talk about a lot of the other spices that are used in European rye breads across that region. But this little recipe for the German, one version of the German bread spice, I actually had all the spices because I cook with spices a lot, and these are some coriander seeds that I grew in my garden last year because we eat a lot of Asian food, and we tend to grow coriander throughout the winter. Anyway, I wanted to make some bread spice today, and I thought I would bring you along just for the fun of it in case anybody is inspired to make their own spice blend. I just wanted to read this little section here that Mr. Ginsberg so delightfully explains. He says, "There is a natural affinity between rye and spices, and virtually all of the spices used in European rye breads flourish in the cool temperate climates of rye regions. The most commonly used rye spices, anise, caraway, coriander, cumin, dill, and fennel, are related to carrots, a hardy northern crop, and only nigella, the acrid black seed called something in Polish that I can't pronounce, and something else in Russian that I can't pronounce, comes from the south of the Alps. Throughout Germany, bakers use these spices not only individually but also in a blend called Brotgewürz. I don't know if I'm saying that the right way. Bread spice that combines the sweet fragrance of anise and fennel with the bitter astringency of caraway and the lemon notes of coriander." So by anise, I don't know if he means star anise or aniseed, but I have aniseed seeds. I use these in a Sri Lankan curry that I love to make, a beautiful fish curry that I make occasionally. I have those. I'm just going to use these, and I'm going to make a double batch loosely based on this recipe, and I'm going to use that to start spicing some of my rye breads. I don't have a lot of ground fennel. I've got some partially ground fennel here, and I've only got powdered fennel, so I will be using some of that. And I'm going to toast these just very simply in my little saucepan and then grind them up. I buy my spices in these big bags. The place where I get them from, it's a Fijian Indian grocery not far from me, and I store them in the fridge or the freezer. So this is best before December 2023, which is coming up soon. But since I bought this, it has been in the fridge. So I keep my spices a lot longer by storing them under refrigeration, and they just don't last very well here, especially through our hot summer months. Whole spices really are a whole other world compared to ground spices. The flavors and the aromas are just so much better. But if you don't have a spice grinder and all you can get is the ground spices, then just go ahead and make this up with the ground spices. That's totally fine too. Okay, this is the easiest thing in the world to do. This is how I prepare my spices when I'm making curries. I'm going to make a double batch of this bread spice. So I need caraway seed first. I'm just following his recipe for the German bread spice mix, but plenty of, there would be a lot of variation in how people make it, depending on, different bakers, bakeries, households. Everybody's going to do it a bit differently, but I'll follow his recipe and see how I like it. So I'm going to do a double batch, so this will be 3 tablespoons of caraway. This is a metric 20 ml Australian tablespoon. And then the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of aniseed, but I'm going to double that to 2. The recipe says aniseed, so I'm presuming that he means aniseed, not star anise. We'll see how it goes. This is one of my favourite spices. Oh, I love it in curries. 2 of those. Fennel seed for the double recipe is going to be 2 tablespoons. This is partially ground, this fennel. So I've only got about 1 tablespoon. I'm going to have to later on add another tablespoon of the ground fennel, but I won't roast the ground fennel. And finally, I'll need for the double batch 2 tablespoons of coriander seed. This was grown in my garden, which is exciting to use your own seed that you've grown. I try and harvest seeds of different things whenever I can. 2. All right. That's going to make quite a lot, but once this is roasted and ground, I am going to store it back in my fridge or my freezer with my other spices, so it will last a long time. And hopefully I'll make some really delicious bread with it. So we'll just lightly toast these. I'm going to put it on medium high heat just because I'm a bit impatient. You could do this in a pan, a bigger pan, that might be better, but I'm just going to use this small saucepan and just agitate them. You only want to do this for a couple of minutes, just until they become lightly toasted and fragrant. It shouldn't take too long. Put some light on. Oh, that's better. Help if I can see what I'm doing. You can see it's a bit powdery because some of the fennel was sort of partially ground. Oh, it smells great already. Wow. Oh, if you could smell how good that is, my goodness. I can hear a few little popping sounds there, a few little cracking sounds. There's a little bit of smoky steam coming off it. Nearly there. I tell you what, roasted spices, malted roasted grains, all of these things, you enter a whole other world of flavour when you process these kinds of ingredients in these kinds of ways. It really is something special. I cannot wait to use this in a recipe. Okay, that's done. It smells amazing. It's throwing off a little bit of smoke and all these not smoke, but probably steam and all these amazing volatile gases. Incredible. I'm just going to let that cool for a few minutes and then I will whiz it up. Before I forget, I'll add the 2nd tablespoon of fennel. I've just toasted the ground fennel through just a little bit with the whole seeds, and I'm just going to pour it into a bowl just to take it off the heat and help it cool down a little faster. I cannot tell you how good that smells. Wow. This is really something else. So I'll just put that in my little coffee grinder, which smells a bit like fennel from the last lot of stuff I made. I've never used this coffee grinder for coffee. It's just reserved for spice grinding in our house. We have various other implements for coffee. We do love coffee. Oh, well. Can I fit it all in there? Let's see if I can. Yes. Okay, that batch fits in a small spice grinder. That's excellent. A little bit more. That's it. I think that should be enough. Yeah, it's still got some chunks in it, but it's pretty smooth. I'm just going to spoon this into a clean jar. And there is my bread spice. And there you have it. Beautiful, fragrant, fresh German style bread spice with caraway, aniseed, coriander and fennel. It's absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to use this. So if you're feeling adventurous and you love rye bread like I do, then give this a try. I'm going to store this definitely under refrigeration. It will last a lot longer and stay fresher. Got a little label there. Always label things, that way you know how old they are. There we go. Gorgeous. I hope you give this a try. Let me know if you do. I'd love to know. And see what this is like in some of my recipes, and hopefully share the recipes with you for the bread as well. Thanks everyone. See you in the next video. Bye.